أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المبعوث رحمة للعالمين بشيرا ونذيرا الداعي إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا. صدق الله العظيم. Brothers and sisters, we congratulate ourselves for the privilege given to each and every one of us by the Almighty to witness another Jumu'ah in life. Not only are we witnessing it for witnessing sake, but with full health and the opportunity to show up at the masjid. We say Alhamdulillah. After sending salutations to Rasulullah and his household, I would like us to pay very good attention to what we'll be discussing with ourselves today. As you all might have known, that the Iznillah Rahman, tomorrow will be the 12th of Rabiul Awal 1444, which the historian recognized to be the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the final messenger, the seal of all prophet. And today, as I prevail and urging each and every one of us to please pay attention, is within the short amount of time we have today, commemorating the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The best way we can celebrate him, the best way we can remember him, the best way we can be his followers, his genuine followers, is to follow his right footsteps, to follow his teachings, the way he deals with people, Muslims and non-Muslims. That's the best way we can celebrate him. When we look at the perception of Islam and Muslims generally in the United States today, it is very sad. And for we to correct that mentality and ideology of the way people see us as not being terrorists and as not being a terrorist group, the responsibilities start from each and every one of us. And I will urge us all to take that and incorporate it in our lives moving forward, to actually celebrate Rasulullah the right way and to follow his right footsteps. As our sheikhs has taught us, that Islam, the foundation of Islam, everything everything in this religion in terms of practices is based upon three things. That and they are called to al-ibad bainahum wa baina rabbihim, that the relationship of every servant between themselves and their creator. Mas'uliyatu ibad bainahum wa baina nafsihim wa baina anfusihim, responsibilities, good relationship between ourselves and our nafs, our own selves. We shouldn't be unjust to our own personal selves. And the third thing is, and are called to salah bainana wa baina mujtamahina, that our responsibilities between ourselves and our communities, people around us, our families, our co-workers at workplaces, our fellow students at our schools, how do we deal with these people? And that is where coming with today's sermon, that Almighty Allah is remembering us in the Qur'an, that لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, that for each and every one of us, for each and every living soul, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, an excellent way of life. The best person we can incorporate and see as our role model and follow his steps is Rasulullah. Before moving forward, everyone knows, without a biased mind, that Islam is a full and complete religion, as Allah has mentioned it. So there are many negative controversies towards Islam. In 1978, an American researcher and historian, Michael Hart, he published a book, 100 Most Influential Persons in the History of Mankind, in 1978. He chose Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the number one on his list, and he said, and I quote, that many is going to counter his resolution of making Rasulullah the number one on his list because he was a Christian. And he said he chose him because he is the only man, he said, and I quote, he is the only man in history, before he revised the book in 1992, that he is the only man in history, that was when Michael Hart was born up until the 19th century, that he said he is the only man in history that was supremely successful in terms of religions and secular base. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the secular part is what we want to actually remind ourselves today. That if we want to be successful, we want to be true Muslims, we want to correct that terrorism ideologies and mentalities as people see us, especially in the United States today. We want to deal with people, our co-workers, our fellow students, our colleagues, our neighbors. We want to deal with them with respect. We want to deal with them. We want to treat them the way they should be treated, regardless of them being non-Muslims. So going back to the ayah where Allah is reminding us that لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ, that whoever is truly hoping to meet Allah and expecting to be on good standing with Him on the day of judgment, and that person is as well reminding Allah through his ibadat, through his nawafil, everything he does in terms of religious practices, he should follow the rightful steps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Again, Rasulullah testified to this in another verse that in kuntum tuhibbun Allah fattabi'uni, if truly we love Almighty, we should follow Him, because la yantiqu anil hawa, He wouldn't say what is not ordered to say, because He is a chosen one. He is the seal of all prophets. Again, going back to the faith of Abraham, that's where Islam comes from. So He is the seal of all these prophets that has come before Him. He said, وَالَّذِي بَعَثَ فِي الْأُمِّيِّينَ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ. He said He is one that had chosen this Rasulullah from all this, the lineage of all these prophets. In another verse, He's saying, لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى دِينِ كُلِّهِ هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ. He is one that sent Rasulullah with that final constitution, which is our Qur'an. لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى دِينِ كُلِّهِ, for Him to make Islam apparent to the world, to everyone, that Islam incorporates all the religions that has come before. Christianity, Judaism, everything is within Islam. Now, how can we now celebrate this man that brought this message, that brought this religion? Is for we to follow his rightful space through his secular and interpersonal relationships. Again, going back to one of our responsibilities as Muslims is to have a good relationship with our fellow humans. There is no compulsion in religion. La ikraha fi din. Either people accept the religion or they don't. That's not our problem. We are not there to judge anyone. He said, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسُ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. He said, if your Lord wishes, He will have made each and every one of us Muslims from the onset. He said, وَلَا يَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ. But they won't stop going on their separate ways. That is even telling Rasulullah in a separate verse. The last time alayhim bimusaytir. You are not there to keep on watching their steps. So being Muslims or not being Muslims, for we to propagate the tenet of Islam the way it should, the rightful way that Rasulullah propagated it, the rightful way that he propagated that he was ranked the number one by many, many non-Muslims, is the way he deals with people. In his hadith, he's saying, he said, خَيْرُ الْأَصْحَابِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. The best of servants, the best of people that will live, he said, خَيْرُهُمْ لِصَاحِبِهِ. The best of them is those that deal with people around them, that they are good to people around them. And then he said, وَخَيْرُ الْجِيرَانِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرُهُمْ لِجَارِهِ. And the best of neighbors that we can have, either Muslims or non-Muslims, is those people that are good to their neighbors. How do we treat our co-workers? Do we treat them unjustly because they are non-Muslims? Or do we deal with them justly, respectfully? We can even correct them or invite them indirectly to uphold and join the religion. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Many people that took Islam from Rasulullah, it wasn't through direct da'wah. It was indirectly through the way he dealt with them. Interpersonal relationships. That's secular level. So we urge each and every one of us to please, let's change the way we deal with people around us. If we truly love Rasulullah and we are trying to celebrate him, the best way we can remind him, uphold to him as our best role model, and to celebrate him, if we truly love him, is to follow his rightful steps. Again, in the Qur'an, Allah is saying, وَعَبُدُ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا. We want to worship him as Muslims. وَلَا تُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا. We shouldn't entangle partners with him. He said, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Do good to your parents. وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى. Those that are close to us. When he was, making an explanation of this, he said, أَرْبَعِينَ بُيُوتًا مِنْ كُلِّ جَانِبٍ. That every 40 households from the front of where you actually reside, 40 upward, 40 backward, 40 to your right and left. That's 160 households. So if we actually, treat people 160 households within each of our respective places, see how we will have propagated the tenet of Islam positively. So we again, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَنَا فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. The excellent way of life. Sallallahu alayhi. You see, I reference a Christian. I don't go to what the Islamic scholar says now just to justify my point. That if we truly want to correct the way people see us and Islam, it starts from ourselves. How do we deal with people, non-Muslims especially? Again, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying, Ibn Mas'ud rahimahullah, I said, someone went to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and then he asked him, Ya Rasulullah, he said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger, كيف لي أن أعلم إذا أحسنت أو أحسنت? How will I know if I'm a good person or I'm a bad person? And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if you truly want to know if you're a good person or a bad person, He said, إِذَا سَمِعْتَ جِيرَانِكَ, when you hear your neighbors, your co-workers, your fellow students saying, قَدْ أَحْسَنْتَ, that you are a good person. فَقَدْ أَحْسَنْتَ, then you are a good person. وَإِذَا سَمِعْتَهُمْ يَقُولُونَ قَدْ أَحْسَنْتَ, and if you listen to them, if you observe them saying, you see that person coming towards us is a bad person. You know, when we celebrate our ends, do we give these people food? Do we share food with them? Do we let them know what we are celebrating? Do we even greet them? You know, one of the things that United States teaches is that thing that you don't say hello to your neighbors for the most part. As Muslims, we should be the one to knock first. Let's say taslim to them. The way we deal with these people is the way we make them see Islam. And the way we, reveal ourselves to them. He said, and when you hear them say that you're a bad person, you're a bad person. So in summary of this first part of the khutbah, is that if we truly love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we look at his entire life, min alfihi ila yahi, he is worth celebrating. But that's not the point today. If we truly want to celebrate him, we truly love him and care to uphold to his rightful teachings, we want to correct the way people see Islam and Muslims, the responsibility starts from each and every one of us. أقول قولي لكم أستغفر الله لي ولكم. أعوذ بالله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Moving forward from the first khutbah about changing our secular and interpersonal relationships is, again, as Muslims, as someone propagating the tenet of Islam, within ourselves, internally, we have a lot of things to solve, internal conflict. And I would like to end my khutbah with this verse of Allah that says, that kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas. Again, when I was prefacing, I said, Islam, everyone knows that Islam is a full and complete religion. It is no doubt that people are reverting today, because Allah said it. That kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas. Somewhere he said, law sha'a rabbuk la ja'ala an-nas ummatan wahida. If he was, he will have made sure every one of us Muslims. And then again he said, kuntum khayra ummatin. Allahu Akbar. Then if we find ourselves being privileged to be Muslims, we should know that we are the best people that Almighty Allah has chosen. Again, without any compulsion, trying to make people join the religion. He said, kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas, because of three things. The first one, tahmuruna bil ma'ruf. We want to command people to do good without compulsion, without extremism. Without extremism. If we truly want to propagate the tenet of Islam, the right sunnah shouldn't have any extremism or any compulsion within it. The first one of being the right person being chosen as Muslims is tahmuruna bil ma'ruf. We should command good things, good tidings. Wa tan'awna 'anil munkar. We should forbid people from doing bad things. Wa tu'minuna billah. Then we should total believe in Almighty Allah. Total. إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارزقنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. آمين. أقيموا الصلاة. تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وما الله يريد ظلما للعالمين ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإلى الله ترجع الأمور. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله ولو آمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون